morning or good afternoon to everybody, and thank you for joining DynTech and ReadyLinks for today's webinar on how to reimagine networking and eliminate recabling. My name is Linda Ford, and I will help moderate today's presentation if you have any questions. During our event, please ask questions at any time by using the Q&A feature in your control panel, and we will address questions at the very end of today's presentation. In addition, today's presentation is being recorded. And we will send it to you right after the event so you can share with your colleagues or go back and reference the information. Lastly, as a token of our appreciation for taking your time over lunch to join us today, we will be sending you a $25 DoorDash gift card unless you opted out in the next 24 hours. I'm pleased to welcome a host of speakers today. First, we have Dan Manila, who's the Vice President for DynTech's West Region. We have Alex Sinstolin, who's the CTO for ReadyLinks. We have Wes Brown, who's the Vice President of Architecture for DynTech, and then Garrett Sinstolin, the Network Security Engineer for ReadyLinks. So now I'd be happy to turn it over to Dan to kick us off.
Thank you, Linda. We're really excited today that you're taking some time to hear about ReadyLinks. ReadyLinks is something that it sort of blew my mind because we've been doing network infrastructure for years and years and years, and I've always known it's 328 feet is as far as you can go with Ethernet cabling, and this is a solution that just it makes all that go away, and our customers are finding it to save a lot of money and a lot of time, and it's a fantastic, dependable solution that we have years and years of tested experience here in Las Vegas with, and they have customers all across the country. So if we go to the next slide. A little bit about DynTech. We're an IT consulting company. We've been in business for over 30 years. We specialize in cybersecurity, in network infrastructure, in the modern workplace apps like Microsoft and different pieces. We're a cloud company. We can also do some staff augmentation and pretty successful in what we've done, and we have a lot of great references. We can do it across any one of the verticals if you're healthcare, education, government, commercial, enterprise, utilities, whatever it is. Next slide. This is a map that shows a location of where we have offices or we have people. I'm pretty proud that we're really scattered in North America. Recently, we added on a security company that's out of Canada, a cloud company and a security company. So that really brought us into the Canadian market. And so we're going across both Canada and US. So it's been really exciting for us at DynTech the way we're growing. And I think we even have a few Canadians on this presentation. So we're excited for you to see this ReadyLinks solution. This is a slide that's pretty funny. It was called out to us that, we're the largest Cisco reseller in the state of Nevada, yet our warehouse is overflowing with ReadyLinks equipment. And it's 100% true. This is a picture. It's built into our presentation room, one of our presentation rooms here in Las Vegas. But our customers love it, and it's a fantastic solution, and we're looking forward to you all hearing more about it.
Yeah, I take 100% responsibility for the recommendation of this slide. I love seeing DynTech is a great partner of ours. #1 Cisco reseller plus Juniper, and the relationship they have with their partners has made a huge difference, so much so that their triple garage opening warehouse is overflowing with ReadyLinks boxes into the presentation room. So I send this to some other people. It's a pretty funny picture.
This one, I wanted to pipe up here. Again, this is Wes with the DynTech team, the architecture side, so one of the geeks in the room. But on this slide, I think you can already see there's a lot of people that are buying the solution. There's a lot of boxes, a lot of hardware related that is going to get deployed to solve some challenges that hopefully, if you have those challenges, we can help you resolve after we've introduced the solution to you today. But at a high level, I wanted to cover at least what ReadyLinks does. We're going to get into the details of different components of the solution, whether that's cloud dashboards or if that's individual types of devices and form factors and so on. But At a high level, we see a lot of customers with similar challenges. And one of those is that they go through waves of technology adoption and they want to push forward with new technology initiatives. But sometimes the cable on the walls holds them back. And so they run through the process that any organization goes through, which is they start to say, okay, I'm going to start pulling permits. I'm going to do bids for recabling. I'm going to start evacuating conduit. I'm going to shut down areas of my building for pulling that new cable, go out and like kind of shut down the business for periods of time. But what the solution allows you to do is leverage all of that existing cabling. So basically anything that's in that conduit already, just leave it there, right? Don't clear those conduits out. But anything that has that conductive core of a wire, so it could be coax, Cat3, twisted pair, old serial distribution, like frame distribution networks, for example, anything that's a conductive core, and allows you to distribute gig Ethernet across thousands of feet, right? Not just the 328 feet that Dan talked about before. So really allows you to kind of simplify your life and simplify your technology adoption curve by using the existing infrastructure that's in your walls. What that does is it reduces timeline to deployment, so timeline for technology adoption. So there's a lot of speed of execution here. There's also typically a cost savings because there's costs associated with that cabling. And so we typically find that for a large project, you can see here, there's an example of cost savings. We find that our customers are able to save money by using ReadyLinks equipment and reusing that cable, and then provide the gig Ethernet ports down to whatever that endpoint is that they need to service. And then they're going to get into this in more detail in this presentation. There's even a live demonstration about what that dashboard looks like, but there's a little reference here about the fabric, the way that you interact with this from a monitoring and maintenance perspective, alerting, all of that's really cool. And so hopefully that demonstration will open your eyes a little bit about what ReadyLinks is able to do for your organization. Go in the next slide there for me, Alec. All right, so I think this is when we pass it over to you, Alec. You have some introduction of the components of the solution. So you're going to cover, I think, the hardware layer a little bit, which again, the hardware is really important because that's what's going to terminate onto that existing infrastructure and make it do what it does in the special way that ReadyLinks performs and enables these technology outcomes. So Alec, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Wes, and thank you everybody for joining. We're really excited about this solution, and we've had a blast helping out clients around the world really accomplish their IT upgrade initiatives. And it covers a wide range of clients. So we talk about enterprise networks. That might be something like hospitals or healthcare districts. We talk about service providers, government, banks, kind of across the board. We can come in there and make sure that the infrastructure that these businesses use to support their operations day to day run as effectively as possible. And that's what we do. That's what we're about, and forming those great relationships with the clients. So today we have about $1 billion plus in annual revenues that kind of transact across ReadyLinks networks. So the solution is a really integral part of day-to-day businesses, and we take that very seriously. We make sure that the hardware and the software tools needed to keep operations running are the best in the world. And that's really paid off. And we have deployed this around the world with all of these great clients and more. So what the ReadyLinks solution translates to is typically a 1,000% access layer performance increase. As Wes mentioned, clients might acquire buildings, might have existing buildings today that are running analog systems, and we can go in there and run symmetrical gigabit, multi-gigabit networks over that existing infrastructure without any need to rewire or pull new cable or incur that operational or capital expense. Founded in 2003, we have large deployments across 15 of the 20 largest cities in the US, and are expanding globally, actually, into the APAC and European regions. So I touched on a little bit the challenges of legacy copper cabling. legacy infrastructure or even modern infrastructure, clients need to have visibility, and they need to have the best performance possible to keep things running. Security cameras, point of sale systems, for internet service providers. It's the uplink to tenants. That's residential tenants, small business tenants. It's the core of their business. And when clients acquire a building or acquire a region, it is an expensive undertaking to pull new cable across that access layer. Sure, there might be fiber optic network to closets, but the closet out a lot of times has different infrastructure going to those edge devices. And what ReadyLinks is able to do is come in and with a single solution, provide the network necessary to run and accomplish the IT initiatives that the customers have. So we're able to deliver the high-speed Ethernet, including PoE plus, over those two conductors of copper, eliminate the need for recabling projects, which in the slide that Wes showed, we've had deployments that were quoted for 3 years go to 6 months. We've had projects incur tens to hundreds of millions of dollars of cost savings by putting this solution into the network. And that's really great to see in the real world, a solution that can do that. So ReadyLinks manufactures hardware. We manufacture switching, routing, and we manufacture an ecosystem. So hardened devices, non-hardened devices, and a variety of different clients that connect to different endpoints. So those can be any PoE plus endpoint, PoE plus plus endpoint that users see in the networks today. And this is an example of a building where we're able to go in, and this closet here has fiber, but all the infrastructure facing the tenants is not fiber. It's not Cat 6A, it's not a new structured cable. And this is where ReadyLinks is able to go in, take that fiber, interface with any cable that exists there today, and deliver multi-gig and PoE plus over that cable in a way that's monitorable, scalable, and a real value add for the network owner and also the clients that sit on that network. So we have clients that can actually go behind a Cat 3 faceplate, a Cat 3 wall jack, and deliver PoE plus out to IP devices. And the amount of buildings in the world, it's tough to understate how many buildings are like this. And this is across the world. And you might have some Cat 6 runs, but the value of being able to gauge the performance and have a single platform interface with new cable, legacy cable has just been a tremendous value add for clients. So with that, I will kick it over to Garrett, who can talk about this project, another super cool project that we did I think 280 endpoints.
Yeah, thanks, Alec. This slide really just shows the essence of, it's not small scale, but it's truly high density. You can scale this out to pretty much however large you want. This project was extremely fun because it gave the property owner the ability to increase his property value at a smaller cost than what a service provider came in to quote him to pull new fiber. So this pretty much gave him the ability to go in, upgrade his existing infrastructure without any interruption to his tenants, and then provide his tenants symmetrical gig speeds over the existing copper. And it's truly 1.8 gig throughput actually, with sub 1 millisecond latency. So it's the technology is robust, and it's able to scale from smaller units, smaller size properties, but all the way up to 200 unit properties. And this is not only doing internet, but it also connects other devices. So there's thousands of devices that are connected onto pretty much our backbone.
Yep. And just to give the audience an idea here, this would be considered one site. So this one site is connecting surveillance cameras. This site could be a bank. This site could be a branch office. And this is one site. I'm going to go over here. This is a client that, as an example, we have permission to share the dashboard, has 10,000 plus sites. So it scales back and forth. This client can now see their infrastructure and port out that infrastructure health across their sites. So very powerful stuff that scales up, scales down nicely.
Yeah, not to mention the ability to power those devices from a local switch stack. So no need to run low voltage or anything. And actually all is the POX patent that we have to power end devices.
Yep. So operates just like PoE+, modern networking. So Dan touched a bit on it, but we have a number of different verticals where this solution has been used, where it's provided value for clients. Service providers, it's huge for them to be able to go into their region and transform the existing telephone cable. Enterprises, governments, those branch offices a lot of times need upgrades. The analog components are going out of service. They still have businesses to run. ReadyLinks networks can go in there and make a difference. Hospitality, so resort brands, and gaming. How we met with DyneTech, the Las Vegas office there. Huge value proposition for the casinos, which translate a bit into the resorts network. But to give you guys an idea, every single property in Las Vegas now, close to everyone, uses ReadyLinks in their networks in some way, whether that's surveillance, whether that's guest room, or whether that's running their slot floors, which are hyper focused on uptime and availability. So it's a great
point. To Alec, to that point you're making, it's for critical systems, right? So surveillance, for example, there's life safety concerns, there's obviously asset loss and so on. But there's that critical system that requires 100% uptime, right? ReadyLinks has the reliability, long-standing in those environments to be able to deliver those outcomes. In addition to areas that are high revenue producing, for example, for a customer that one of their key metrics of success is revenue production, which that may differ based on vertical that you're in, right, for different outcomes. But that system that they rely on to produce that is running across the ReadyLinks communication system. So there's a lot of trust that's been put into these, and we went through our own validation series with the ReadyLinks team to ensure the solution was going to meet muster with our customers. and we've been very impressed by the performance so far, and our customers have been as well, where we've been able to deploy it in those critical use cases. So we want to make sure that anything that we put in front of your eyes, for example, the bunch of attendees that are here today, that we feel comfortable and that we know that it's a proven solution, so that we're not experimenting, for example, in your environment. So just know that there's lots of other customers, lots of other use cases that have been tried and proven. And I think it's really exciting to see the kind of critical outcomes that ReadyLinks is enabling.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Wes. Another kind of example slide here. Garrett, do you want to speak to this one quick?
Yeah, this once again just shows the essence of those old punch-down blocks that are rarely used nowadays, can transform a network into high-speed Ethernet. Service providers are actually now calling it fiber over copper because they're delivering fiber speeds just over a copper medium. And the biggest value proposition between fiber and copper is the ability to do power over copper. You can't yet do that over light just yet, but that's a huge value proposition for people that can actually now manage end devices and troubleshoot them and power reset them from pretty much anywhere in the world, which is always the first troubleshooting step in networking. So this just shows how malls can now, in Las Vegas, you are not allowed to rip up walls in these old malls. So you got to be able to come up with some solution. And this was the solution for all the malls.
Yep. So what we're looking at, a room, some legacy copper, some new, Cat 6. Without having to modify this room at all, symmetrical gigabit services can be marketed to tenants just by placing ReadyLinks there. And this is a little aerial view of the dashboard, kind of what I showed you guys earlier, of the sites. That is this. So the service provider that actually went in here went from having less than 5% market share in this particular use case to over 90% of the tenants in this mall rely on the technology every day for transactions. So a pretty transformational initiative there. Red Rock Resort's a great client. This slide speaks to year 2016. The slide that Wes shared earlier. All the closets had fiber run, but they needed to get things like IPTV, IP surveillance. They needed to get the Ethernet world stood up in these access layer closets. So they began installing ReadyLinks. And this initially was quoted as a 3+ year project just for cabling. That doesn't include putting in switches, configuring switches. Well, you could come in with ReadyLinks, put the solution in, not disrupt at all the overall revenue to the operation. If anything, a positive trend. It's completely different than shutting down an operation. You're able to put us in and in real time, accomplish the trend, and then the year following, a substantial increase once these networks were in place. This is a pretty big testament, although not unusual. Techs will prefer ReadyLinks a lot of times over other vendors, just for ease of use, the tools that we poured out to the technicians and the NOC level of folks that interact with it every day. A hospitality organization, 55+ properties. This is what we were talking about, bringing a 3-year deployment to 6 months and achieving 40 million in cost savings. It's sort of sticking with the theme here. You can accomplish your initiatives in a simple way and quickly. So the hardware solution is important, but day 2+ operational savings these networks run, and they're expected to run for 10, 20 plus years. And I touched on the technicians earlier. Every day there's hundreds, thousands of technicians deploying this equipment. And this is a screenshot here. ReadyView is a mobile first application. So it was built from the ground up as a progressive web app. We never had to bifurcate applications. When we talk about our enterprise dashboard, it always translated directly to a phone, to an iPad, to multi-tenant levels, so that organizations could bring on contractors, take off contractors, and those contractors could have access to do the install. And that has been an awesome value for the clients. Resort clients, banks with branch offices can hire on contractors, have them take a picture of the install, upload it to the dashboard, and take off contractors. And so the ecosystem has just emerged as a great value for all the clients. We've talked about ReadyView. The API, ReadyLinks is working on a few projects. We're bidding out about 130,000 schools, actually. And the ReadyLinks directly is not bidding those. It's through a partner that runs the AV systems for the schools. They can take the ReadyLinks infrastructure, integrate it into their dashboard. So you see the health of the intercom system and the network from the same dashboard. This isn't us. This is another client that's using the software to provide value for the education tranche of the business. And this API translates to custom business applications that people want to bring online to show that the network is really adding value for the transformation thesis, for the C-level people involved all up and down the chain to the technicians as well. ReadyOn is another application built on the API where you can actually monetize the networks. So if you want to give somebody temporary access to a port, ReadyOn comes out of the box available so that the client sitting on the other end can actually go through the buy flow of activating their own port. And
I think it's important, Alec, to talk through that a little bit, just pretty quickly. So if you have somebody who is in a shared space, a tenant, if there's dwelling units that have people that are going to come in and out, maybe they're going to live there for a while.
Yep.
Those mall use cases where you have people that are going to go in and sell things that are separate from maybe the large building use case. Healthcare entities, taken hospitals and they've revamped those into medical offices, for example. And all this is really just a QR code that's on the faceplate that's supplied that Ethernet drop, the Cat6 that faces the endpoint or the wall jack. That is just supported by ReadyLinks infrastructure. So they take a picture of that QR code, that sends API calls, it provisions that port for the speed that's appropriate to that user's use case and the bill rate that they agree to. So 10 meg, 100 meg, 1 gig service. All of those things, and you can charge that back based on whatever upstream infrastructure you have, your WAN bandwidth, for example, that you're able to subscribe down to those tenants. And then you can turn that into a revenue generator, for example, for those that are responsible for managing those shared spaces. Or if you have some use case where you want to be able to allow end users to dynamically provision their own bandwidth on each one of those ports. That's a really cool use case. And I think it speaks to the underpinnings of the ReadyLinks platform. Being API driven and allowing for automation use cases like that. So it's something that ReadyLinks launched and has been really successful in those spaces to what Alec and Garrett have talked about.
Yep. Thank you, Wes. Yep. And, everybody ready.centurylink.com right now. That's something hosted by us, and how these buildings translate to the buy flow. If we, click into regions here, addresses, and as Wes touched on, they become marketable for your network. So I'm just clicking into a region here. This building here, this is 108 2nd Ave South. This could be a doctor's office or an office of medical spaces. And you can subscribe to your own port without interrupting the operations at all of IT. They can just make that marketable out of the box and achieve that result. So these are all tenants that have subscribed to their own circuit in addition to some common areas. So thanks, Wes. Yeah.
Alec, on that slide in the demo, is there some of those that are over 1 gig? Because I know on our own dashboard, I was amazed when I have a 620-foot run of coax, and I was really impressed with how the download speed. So the second one down is 1.3 gig.
Yeah.
It's just really, it's really impressive. In our own office, we have 620 feet of coax, and I'm getting 2.5 gig over it, and it's powering a camera. It's pretty clean.
Yeah, that's a good point to you, Dan. So if people are familiar with like Juniper Mist and their ability to see the health score of the conductor itself, we also do that with our own health score. So you can see if like a technician punched down appropriately, if the RJ45 is crimped to the right spec, we also indicate that in our dashboard with a so-called health score, which is awesome for deployments. For it's easy to see, it's intuitive. No one needs a higher education to really understand that. So that also helps. And then just like Alec's going to click on the metadata, it helps just like Amazon delivery. Take a picture of the install, make sure it's appropriate, make sure it's done right. And that proves quality assurance as well as inventorying of equipment.
Yep, absolutely. So our resort customers will use that for the endpoint. The resort IT customers will bring on technicians. They might be based out of a different city, but as part of the quality assurance, you can have a tech basically take a picture of the endpoint, upload it to the dashboard, and have that timestamp there. Edge device management, we just showed that a bit. You get the view of the edge devices, the health, and can upload metadata like pictures. So the demo, we've bounced back and forth a little bit throughout the slides. I'll just touch on it real quickly again. This is a demo that shows a regional deployment, but as we bounce back and forth, we show how it scales up, scales down. You have networks, devices. And these are devices that are running, you know, it can be almost any IT device. As Wes mentioned, a number of critical systems are up on this solution. ReadyOn, you can see how a ReadyLinks network is now monetizing the access layer. This is a 1-year trend that is pretty good, always a good trend to see. From the admin center, you can add people to your team, bring people off the team at different levels. You can click into inventory and deliver reports, how much have been deployed, a schedule of install times, and just really take full control of your infrastructure across a number of different use cases. So with that, I'll open it up to the group, just open forum for questions. And again, we really appreciate all of you guys coming out to the call. It's been very fun.
Want to stop sharing for a minute, Alec? Yeah, awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Just a reminder to everybody, if you'd like to ask a question, you can use the chat or the Q&A module. We did have a question roll in, and it is, Beyond legacy twisted pair like Cat3 or Cat5, can you speak to how we can leverage this solution over legacy coax as well?
I can speak to that a little bit, Linda. So we treat each medium pretty much the exact same. So coax, Cat3, Cat5, it doesn't matter. With the coax situation, though, the beautiful part about coax is the ability to split the medium. So we also can do that. So one port can actually go all the way up to 16 endpoints. So in like a high-rise hospitality unit, 3,000 rooms, you're able to tap the coax 16 times to deliver 1.8 gig to each endpoint and deliver IPTV, Wi-Fi, VoIP, you name it, we can do it. And then another thing about coax is you can also you can do POX over it, which is the power capability, but you can even inject power into the coax line if you have power passing taps or splitters, and you can power each endpoint that way, or you can utilize the powering capabilities from our switches as well. So we treat coax the exact same as Cat3, Cat5. It's actually a little bit better medium because you can go a lot further distance, 1,500 to 2,000 feet at a symmetrical gig, just because it's a more conductive medium and it's better insulated. So it is technically a better medium, and you can split it multiple different ways.
Yep. I'll add on to what Garrett said. It is just ideal for delivering Wi-Fi and IPTV in almost every building you come across that has coax. So you have coax running back to closets, and hey, you want to deliver Wi-Fi to corners of buildings. Hey, get on that existing coax. This is what the resort hospitality clients do all the time. And as Garrett said, part of the demo, it was phone line, but it was also coax. It's the same view. So you get all the same features as the phone line, but you get the point to multi-point functionality.
I think that's how it started in a lot of the casinos also, because some of the casino owners' homes had old surveillance cameras. And so the surveillance company went in and said, hey, you have coax, we have a great solution for you. They put this in, it saved them a ton, and then they were interested, and that's why they brought it to their whole big, large group of casinos that they own. So it's also great for surveillance cameras anywhere, parking lots, whatever you have. If you have connectivity to it, this is an amazing solution.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely.
Just another reminder, just to chat, put into Q&A any questions. I don't see any questions right now. I did throw in chat, just if you're interested in learning a little bit more, you want to do a demo or a consultation in greater detail about your specific needs or use case, you can reach out to marketing@dynetech.com, or you can go on our website to dynetech.com/readylinks-demo, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Just as another reminder, thank you guys so much for attending today. We will be sending all of our attendees, unless you opted out, a DoorDash gift card in the next 24 hours. If you have any issue or don't see it, then you can reach out to marketing@dynetech.com as well, and I'll send a follow-up email tomorrow with all those details. So I'll just give it another beat in case anyone has any closing comments. Thank you so much, Alec, Garrett, Dan, and Wes for the information today. It's an exciting solution. Any final comments while we wrap up?
I have one, Linda, about the engagement for getting an environment introduced to ReadyLinks. It's a very simple process. You engage through us. The ReadyLinks team has been very accommodating, and so being able to test out those wires, for example, if you have a doubt in your mind whether or not that conductive wire is going to be able to be used for the ReadyLinks solution, being able to do proofs of concept, proofs of value inside of your environments, we can accommodate those as well, which is really powerful. To be able to show the owners of, for example, old analog systems, for example, an analog surveillance system that runs on old surveillance or old coax, and that's already terminated, sitting there. What does that look like for adopting an IP-enabled, PoE enabled camera system that's going to be kind of next generation digital surveillance? So all that said, just know if you wanted to reach out through those mediums that Linda mentioned there, it's a pretty easy process for us to get equipment in your hands to test out and prove out the solution to you. And so you can get a dashboard, you can start to poke around and be able to experience the solution, which is pretty powerful. So please do that. Please reach out, and we're excited to talk to you.
I did have one more question pop up, so I'm going to share that. Is, can the ReadyLinks solution share coax if it is already split? Currently, X channels are dedicated to TV signal, and the remainder currently use cable modems, etc., or Ethernet.
Yep. Sharing the medium is totally fine. We're able to actually, from our switch, frequency notch out things. So if it's inside of our frequency range, we can notch that out. So interference with existing RF plan or whatever is on the existing coax medium is totally fine. Just a couple little things, make sure the signal's not in our frequency range, but if it is, we can notch it just as easy.
Yep. It's a great question.
Great. I don't think I see any more questions right now. If any other questions pop up, feel free to email us and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you again to our speakers today. And unless anyone has any final comments, I think we can wrap it up.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Nice
Thank
job,
you.
Alec and Garrett.
Well,
Wes.
Thanks,
Thanks,
you.
Linda. Bye-bye.
Bye.